Jeff Nadu is in the house. We're going to talk a little bit about how to bet this tournament. It all kicks off on Friday here live on 97.3 ESPN. You can listen to each and every game tip-off at 12:15 is when it all starts, the action here. Jeff and I will be live Thursday at the new FanDuel Sportsbook. Now, my buddy's there today. He sent me pictures. I got to tell you, this place looks tremendous. I can't wait to check this out, the new FanDuel Sportsbook at Bally's in Atlantic City. And Jeff's appearance today is brought to you by Prop Swap. And don't forget, you can go Prop Swap right now, get your ticket at a place like the FanDuel Sportsbook, and then post it on Prop Swap. And we're going to give you a couple of games or teams that might be good for Prop Swap. And Jeff joins me right now on the Boardwalk Honda Hotline and live via the video stream if you're watching at 97.3ESPN.com. Welcome back, Jeff. What's going on? Your mic is off. You're supposed to be a veteran at this game.
I have to know better than that at this point. Hey, Mike, how are you?
All is good, man, and looking forward to the tournament. We talked yesterday, broke a couple things down, did a little more research. Looking forward to getting some more opinions. I got a whole plethora of interesting prop bets as well to throw your way. But before we get into this, I know you had an Eagles question you wanted to kick off today.
Yeah, it's kind of not right now. It doesn't, saying yesterday I would have liked to have talked about it, but it doesn't look like it's going to matter now, though. I think just because I do believe he's signed. But I had to ask, Mike, if you were the Eagles, would you consider, when he was available, Jameis Winston?
Oh, man.
As like a resurgent Michael Vick type here? Like, he's matured a lot, and he's a really good quarterback. I know he had that one really bad year with interceptions, but it's a 5,000-yard passer, Mike.
I know. But I'm in the camp of I just want to give the kid Hurts a shot.
Sure, I hear you.
Yeah,
I'm just saying it's like a veteran backup.
I know. I just want to give the guy a shot, and I don't want this crazy nonsense of, is this guy over my shoulder? Is he here?
Right.
I just want no drama. You know what I mean?
I respect that, but I feel like all we've heard about is quarterbacks and quarterbacks and quarterbacks. And it's like, well, and I agree. You give him a year, and if it doesn't work out, you draft a quarterback next year or something. But I don't know. It was just a thought I had.
Yeah, well, I don't mind the idea of Brissett coming here because I don't think he has the clout enough to start. He's, a guy who knows the system, and he's a solid guy. Your season's not destroyed if he comes in, but I don't think he stirs up controversy. Not that Winston would, but he was a number 1 overall pick in the draft. There's some thought that, hey, I'd want to play. I'm better than the guy that's playing ahead of me. So, I don't know. I'm done with the drama, man.
Yeah, it seems like you got to give Hurts the shot, and, it's his shot now.
Yeah, well, let's hope it goes well because I know I was a fan of the pick. I know people hated the pick. I'm imagining you would be in that case. I think there was a video that went viral of you screaming about a quarterback.
Yeah, that did go viral. I think I had a few million views on that video. Yeah, at the time, it didn't make any sense to me. And at the time, it didn't make any sense. I understand maybe in a 5th or 6th round taking a quarterback, but yeah, you gave us all this song and dance that Carson Wentz, the guy, you gave him a ton of money. You went up and got him in the draft a few years before. And with all the needs they have in the second round, early second round, you take Jalen Hurts. It was just odd to me. It made no sense. But it ended up serendipitously being a big pick. So.
Yeah. All right, let's help these people out with some of the NCAA tournament. It's, starting on Friday, so you have one extra day. Let's start off with a team that maybe no one's ever heard of before, Grand Canyon State, and kind of give us a little insight on your thoughts because everybody will see that in the bracket. But we're trying to make some people money, and people would look at that game in the bracket and figure, all right, that team has no shot. I've never even heard of them before. And by the way, they're 100-1 to win the West region. So let's throw them out and start with that as the opening line on that. They're playing Iowa. It's 16-144.
Yeah, I mean, look, Mike, I'm going to make this very clear. I'm not telling you that I think Grand Canyon's going to win the West, but I do think they can cover in this first game, and I think it's a worthy bet. When you look at the NCAA tournament, Mike, particularly when you're gambling or just picking a bracket, it's important to find matchup advantages or matchup edges or issues that a team will have against a certain team. And one thing about Iowa that I've talked about glowingly in a bad way is that they aren't great defensively. They're a team that wants to get up and down the court, obviously, fast, up tempo, a lot of pace to their game. They have a big guy that, is very difficult to deal with. But, Grand Canyon is the polar opposite. And Grand Canyon is a team that is not going to go fast. They're going to take the air out of the ball completely. Their coach, Bryce Drew, who obviously has a legendary last name, and he had that legendary shot at Valpo many years ago, he's instituted this really slow tempo, really good defensive knockdown drag out team. And Mike, one thing that a lot of people don't realize, they have 3 kids 6'10" or bigger. In fact, they have one kid 7'1". He played at Wichita for 3 years. I've not necessarily seen Luka Garza deal with kids that are bigger than him. I don't know if he wants to smoke down low. And I think this is a pretty bad matchup if you're Iowa. This is not the team as a 15 seed I want to see. Grand Canyon is a good team. They're a group that's just going to wear you down. They're going to make Garza have a tough time of it. And, it's really going to come down to whether, Grand Canyon can establish the style they want. They want to keep this game, in the 60s and 70s. I think this is just too many points. I think they're good enough defensively. I think Iowa's not good enough defensively. I just think the pace kind of suits them, and I think they have the bigs to combat Garza.
So Grand Canyon, a good one because that's a team that most people will never even have heard of as a Division I school. You see 16 points, Iowa, and Iowa's a team that's on TV a lot. That seems like a team that most people say, Grand Canyon, Iowa, that's a blowout written all over it. You're saying you like Grand Canyon to cover.
Very much so, yeah. It's interesting, Mike. Grand Canyon is they're kind of a different school than most. They're a for-profit university, which, like, they're on the New York Stock Exchange. You can find their ticker. They've amazing, beautiful facilities. Dan Marley was their coach for a lot of years, and then they went to Bryce Drew. But yeah, they're fascinating out in Arizona. So I like them here. I think it's a good matchup for them.
Loyola Chicago, we've talked a little bit about them over our conversations. They got Georgia Tech, who, all right, you won the ACC. Loyola Chicago, you probably remember them from their run a couple of years ago, but here they are, 2.5. They are the favorite in this game, 127.5. But forget this game. They could possibly be a great prop swap option. They could make a deep run.
Yeah, Mike, Loyola Chicago is interesting to me. They're like the girl that she might be like a 7 to you, maybe like a 5 to others, but she's a nice girl. She's always good to you. She takes care of you. You go home for the summer. You come back to school the next year, and she's a 9 or 10. She's a knockdown, drag-out girl, and she's still into you. And you say, whoa, you improved significantly. That's what Loyola was in 2018. They were really good, but they grew up all of a sudden. And they come back this year, same players. They're better. They still have those same kids. They were younger at that point, not real kind of mature on the court, but they've become these really solid players. And I think this is a team we have to start talking about legitimately. They are the number 1 defensive team in this tournament, Mike. They have kids that have really grown into their bodies and have become really good college basketball players, namely a guy like Cameron Krutwig, who was a freshman the year that they went to the NCAA tournament and went to the Final Four. He's a senior now, man. He's played a lot of really good players over the years. And this is a defense that can play with anyone. They're a team that can shoot. They don't turn it over. They're well coached. I know they're never going to get the respect, and we're just going to pencil them in as they're going to beat Illinois. They're going to beat Georgia Tech. They're going to beat all these. They're not going to beat all these teams. But I'm going to tell you right now, Illinois better get focused, because if they beat Georgia Tech, Illinois is going to give them everything. They're going to give Illinois everything they can handle. Keep an eye on Loyola Chicago. They're not just a Catholic school from Chicago. They're really good. They're going to be a factor in this tournament in some form or fashion.
Okay, how about 2 bigger schools, LSU, Texas, and the futures fortunes for them? LSU, we talked a little bit about yesterday. They've got St. Bonaventure in that first-round matchup, so, kind of an interesting one there in that 8-9. And then you've got, Texas, who, taking on Abilene Christian. It's a 9-point spread for them in the first game. You got Abilene Christian against a huge school like Texas. You probably know No big, not a tough one there, but what are the futures for those two schools, LSU, Texas?
Yeah, I think for me, like one thing about FanDuel I like, Mike, is they have to make the Final Four. You can bet a team to make the Sweet 16. So there's different waves of the tournament that you can bet them into. And when I looked at the bracket, one of the issues that Michigan's bracket had is that they have Michigan in it. Michigan is vulnerable right now. And I'm looking at teams kind of on that fringe that are, let's say, a 4 seed or a 3 seed or a 6 seed that can dethrone Michigan, or even in LSU's case, an 8 or 9. Bonaventure is a tough team, but when I'm looking at LSU, Mike, they're 18-1 to make the Final Four. If they can get past Michigan, which I think they can, and they can get past either Colorado or Georgetown or Florida State or Greensboro, they're going to get into that spot against maybe a Texas where I can hedge out and make some profit, Mike. I'm looking at, can a team knock out the 1 seed? So in the case of Loyola, I think they could beat Illinois, so I might have them go to the Final Four. But in LSU's case, I think Michigan's vulnerable, man. I think they can be beat, and I think if LSU can get past Bonaventure, I give them a good shot at upsetting Michigan. And at that point, I can start getting out of my bet, and I can look to a place like PropSwap and try to cash in and guarantee myself some profit. So yeah. I generally believe Texas and LSU can both get to the Final Four. I think they're legit. I think they're really good.
That the PropSwap thing's interesting because before this, PropSwap's not around. You can find a team that you think can make an Elite 8 run, buy the ticket now, and once they get into the Elite 8, you go sell that thing when those odds decrease for that team. It's a genius idea, and I tell you what, Loyola Chicago seems like it's a perfect one for that, and we can get some other ones on Thursday's show, by the way. Jeff and I will be live at the new FanDuel Sportsbook, and Luke from PropSwap's going to join us. He's going to sit down and throw some future stuffs out there and kind of describe and explain a little bit more how PropSwap works. And if you are out there listening, Jeff and I will be at the FanDuel. You can come to the Sportsbook that day, buy your futures tickets, and then you could post them on PropSwap that day and try to make a little bit of money on them. So,
Mike, a case in point, actually, the last tournament we had when Virginia won, I actually had Texas Tech to win the entire thing. I PropSwapped it.
Yeah.
I think in the Elite 8, I want to say.
Well,
and I made some profit off it.
Yeah, so. Once a team that comes out of nowhere and gets hot and makes that run, you're going to have people all over the country saying, I want to get on those odds because I like that team. So it's a smart move. All right, give me an over-under in this tournament that sticks out for you in this first round of the tournament.
Yeah, I'm looking at one of the 215 games, Oral Roberts and Ohio State. Ohio State has
154 and a half, 154 and a half, right?
Yeah, it's actually come down a little bit. It was a bit higher yesterday. Not really sure the move down doesn't make a lot of sense to me. When you look at Ohio State, one of the better offenses you'll find. 4th in the country in adjusted efficiency offensively, really good 2- and 3-point offense. They get to the line and make their shots. They just are really a pristine offense. They work through the post and then kick it out to their shooters like Dwayne Washington, who just seemingly doesn't miss. I mean, he's shooting at over 38% this year. Oral Roberts is a team all year, Mike, that have been an up-tempo, bad defensive team. So they can score, but they have a lot of trouble getting stops. I think they're able to score on an Ohio State defense that I'm not a big fan of. They've gotten riddled at times all year. I look at the pace in this game. Oral Roberts is one of the faster teams in this field. I think they're going to speed up the tempo. They're going to speed Ohio State up and let Ohio State kind of run and dictate the tempo they want. Ohio State should get a lot of runouts, a lot of transition opportunities, and a lot of opportunities to make shots. Plus, Oral Roberts, Mike, has the number 1 scorer in the country in Max Asmus. He is as good as it gets. He's a guy that could put up 40 in a game. He's that good. So I think we see a high-scoring game here. It wouldn't surprise me if Ohio State get to 90.
All right, a couple of props I want to throw your way and just get your quick opinions on these. You can bet these and find these all over the place, but highest margin of victory in a round 1 game, 37.5.
Yeah, probably.
That's a Gonzaga game, probably.
No, you know what, Mike? I would go Baylor. Actually, I think Hartford is a disastrous matchup for them against Baylor. Hartford is a team, Mike, out of the America East that coming into the America East tournament was 11-8 this season. And they didn't even play Vermont, who was the best team in the America East. So, they're, I think, just going to be happy to be there. Their coach had never been to the tournament, got a lot of seniors. I think they'll maybe hang for 5 minutes, and that's a game at halftime that's like 45-19 or something. And it would surprise me if Baylor win like 96-56 or something.
That's a
Uh,
Vin Baker alum there at Hartford.
Yeah, and it also is the home of Tracy Carter, who's a South Philly guy. He played at LaSalle, a couple other schools, and he's found a home in Hartford. He's a great defender, and I'm going to be happy to see him there. But this is going to be a tough matchup. So I would actually go Baylor, and they have a pretty good win margin. I think they're second in the country in margin of victory this year. So I'm going to go with Baylor there.
All right, highest combined points scored by two teams in the round of 64. Over under 185.5.
Yeah, I think Oral Roberts, Ohio State could get to that. I think Colgate, Arkansas is an up and down affair. When you look at Colgate, I kind of equated it recently, Mike, to the movie Friday Night Lights.
Well, hold on, Jeff. I think this is just saying two teams in any game combined. If you take any two teams and take their combined score, will you get 187.5? So you got to get
any two teams in the field?
Yep.
So I could take Gonzaga and someone else?
Just says highest combined points scored by two teams in round of 64.
I think that's the game itself, though. Like you pick one game, will it be the highest scoring of the entire sequence?
Could be, because the next one is highest point total scored by one team, and that over-under is 100.5.
Now, that one I would go with Gonzaga or Baylor probably.
So you got.
But I think the one you mentioned is what game has the highest score probably.
Okay. You think a team scores over 100?
Yeah, I definitely. I mean, I think Gonzaga, they could do that anytime they play. Illinois could do it against Drexel. I mean, Mike, Illinois is going to do whatever they want with the ball. Drexel might not. They might give up 1.4 points per possession, which is as bad as it gets. Drexel has no shot to stop Illinois on any play. There will be some blowouts in this tournament. There just will be.
Of course. Yeah. All right. Will a 1 seed be losing or tied at halftime? Plus 300, yes. Minus 500, no. You're thinking about the 4 1 seeds. Will any of them be losing or tied at halftime? That's a plus 300 for yes. I mean, minus 500, no. I know you always talk about, hey, if you can make money, don't worry about it. But minus 500 is not great. It's basically saying this ain't happening.
Yeah, I think I think that's interesting because Michigan plays the winner of, I believe, Mount St. Mary's, Texas Southern, if I'm correct. Hold on a second. Yeah, they play the winner of Mount St. Mary's, Texas Southern. I'm going to tell you this now. If Mount St. Mary's beats Texas Southern, which I think they will, that's one of my favorites, I would not be surprised if Mount St. Mary's has a lead at some point. I think they are a team, as a 16, they do have some things to combat what Michigan do. They're a good defensive team. They're very slow. They have 3 kids that are 6'9" or bigger. They can maybe Dickinson's on the bench. He's had some issues with fouls recently. I think that's one that I would consider. I don't think, to me, Mount St. Mary's is a pretty decent team. It wouldn't surprise me if Michigan comes out slow without Livers. I could see that.
All right, these are a couple interesting ones with Jeff, and we'll do a lot more on Thursday's show. We'll be live over at the new FanDuel Sportsbook at Bally's from 2 to 6. We'll do stuff all day on the tournament. We'll weave some stuff in and out. All right, total round of 64 games won by Big Ten teams, over under 7.5.
So virtually everyone.
There you go. You don't like Wisconsin, I know that.
No, I don't. I also don't like Maryland either. I think there are 9 teams in, so I'm going to go under 7.5.
So those two would be the two you don't like. All right. How about in the ACC, over under 3.5?
I think Virginia will win. I actually think Florida State may lose, frankly. I think Syracuse, they lose.
Syracuse is an 11. I keep getting told that because all these Syracuse marks out there who keep telling me if West Virginia wins, we got to face them in the second round. I said, I would love to see that happen.
Yeah. I think Georgia Tech, under 3.5 for
under
sure.
3.5.
In fact, I actually like that one quite a bit. There's no Duke, no Carolina, no Louisville. I think you can make the case that all of them may lose.
Yeah.
Virginia's coming off a COVID pause. None of them might win.
Over under.
Let me ask you: is there can I bet 0 there?
It's over under 3.5.
Okay.
I mean, you could take
I
the
would
under.
love to get condensed odds on 0. I would definitely love a plus money price on that.
Yeah, you got to check out different apps, I guess, to see if who's getting really creative.
Yeah.
But over under 3.5 ACC teams. I'll give you one more because we'll play with these on Thursday's show. This one's interesting because Big 12 might be the best conference in the country this year. Maybe Big 10. Over under 5.5.
So Baylor wins. Texas will win. Kansas will win. Oklahoma State's going to win. Arkansas is going to win.
Arkansas's SEC.
Oh, yeah, what am I saying? Sorry, you say Big 12. My fault. Oklahoma, I don't think wins.
West Virginia. I know you were iffy on West Virginia yesterday, but.
Yeah, well, I think they still win. I don't know if they cover, but I think they win. I'm going to go over there. I think the only team that may lose is Oklahoma, and that's a toss-up 50-50 game. Texas Tech will win also. So, yeah, I'm going to go over.
There you go. You like that? You like the conference?
I do. I actually really like that ACC bet. Is that on FanDuel?
These are courtesy of bet for overseas. So you got to find.
Okay.
See,
I got to try to find. Maybe they'll put those up on FanDuel because I would love to. There's some props here on FanDuel now. Maybe I'll have to look.
Yeah, we will go through a lot of this stuff on Thursday's show. We'll kind of go through green. And are you a bracket guy or are you a non-bracket guy?
I mean, look, I'm always a bracket guy. I mean, I'm not as like when I was 9 or 10 years old, I was a huge bracket guy. But once I discovered gambling, I do a bracket tournament.
Yeah.
Like I have a big pool that I'm in. But
right.
I think
I still do the bracket. I got the sheet. I got the yellow here. I got the red here.
Yeah, I saw you talking about that yesterday.
I'm still old school on the bracket. I love it. I run the bracket. I got a bunch of people in the bracket. You want to get in the bracket? I'll send you the link.
I would love to. Mike, when I was younger, when I discovered sports, basically college basketball, my grandfather, we would cut it out of the paper every year. We would fill it out. And
when I was in college, we used to do it in the USA Today. And we would sit down. That was how, like, I ran the fantasy football league in college, and I had the USA Today was the official stats of the league. And I had a notebook, and I'd literally take by hand and write them in, and the guys would be over my shoulder looking at me keep score from the USA Today every Monday.
Mike, maybe on Thursday we could talk about this. I've told you about my friend in prison right now. I have to tell you a story about fantasy football that he told me.
I would love to hear this.
It's fascinating. You'll have to hear about it.
All right, Thursday, join us live. We'll have stuff on every game. Jeff will give you a thought on every single game. I promise you, every single game, Jeff will give you a thought on.
Already talked to some people that are going to be down there, according to them. So if you're in the area, please come by Bally's. It's beautiful. Get some food, maybe hang out and meet me and Mike and everybody.
My buddy was there today, sent me pictures, and this place looks phenomenal.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
I haven't been to Bally's in a while, so I'm looking forward to it.
So, we'll be there 2 to 6. We're going to go through the games, all the games. We will give you a thought. You know how Casey Joyner joins us during the football season? We do one thought on every game. Well, Jeff will be playing the role of Casey Joyner, and we'll give you one thought on every single game on the card, how to bet it, and who will win this whole tournament.
Well, that's quite the honor to be compared to him. So.
Yeah, well, he's the football scientist. You are the college basketball scientist. There's your new moniker, the college basketball scientist, the BMO.
I like that. All
right, Jeff Nadu, make sure you come out and see us live on Thursday. Jeff, thanks, man.
Hey, thanks, Mike. See you then.
All right, he, like all guests, appeared via the Boardwalk Honda hotline.